right. All right. Let's see if we can make it moving. Are we there? We are. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the show. It's Hal Sparks, Megaworldwide. Like, subscribe, and give a thumbs up to support the show. We soldier on, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Hal Sparks, the most Hal Sparks you'll ever Hal Sparks in your whole Hal Sparks in life. Obviously, some folks are seeing the news, if it is indeed news, of Matt Gaetz being nominated for AG. I have my own theory about this, which is quite simply that as acting AG, he will go after whoever Trump wants him to, start that ball rolling, and then because of people who are threatening to quit or because of the Senate refusing to confirm him because he shows pictures of the women he's sexually assaulted on the floor of the House, they will not confirm him. Thune's choice. This is more like a fuck you to Thune. And ultimately, it will sort of peter out at him going after Nancy Pelosi, I suppose. This would clarify, though, if this is his intention, then Biden should just go on a fucking pardoning spree right out of the gate. Just hand him out. Just do it. The idea that a full-on rapist is going to be the AG is both grotesque and absurd. And I would like to remind you, and I think chat room will probably agree with me on this, but for the record, in case you were wondering, and I think this cements it, no woman anywhere has overreacted to the potentiality of a Trump presidency, not in 2016 and what he did to the Supreme Court, which ended up with Roe, and certainly not now. Any woman who is reacting in any way at all is, if anything, underreacting, probably tamping it down so they don't end up in a fucking straitjacket. So just saying, women, I see you. And I absolutely recognize the fact that no one overreacted to this asshole. No one. We tried to keep our shoulder to the wheel and push forward on this, but there's not a single woman out there that's overreacted to this. But I mean, just Hegseth saying women shouldn't serve, and Matt Gaetz is a potential AG. Now, this may be a double bluff. This may be him proposing someone he knows will not make it through the nominating process, or very well may not even make it through the cycle to the point where anybody allows him to even walk in the door. That's a possibility, but it could be to draw attention away from Hegseth or some of the other people he wants, including people he has actually addressed, such as this asshole. And by the way, hit the like and share the show and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. This is Mike Huckabee, whose daughter is engaged in all kinds of local corruption, adorable Nebraska corruption, or Arkansas corruption. But he's going to be, this give you any indication of just the level of low-res dipshittery that will make up the Trump cabinet. And again, if you want this asshole to walk off a short pier he has constructed himself, this is how it happens. By the way, Andrea, my Blue Sky app is now just at halsparks.com on Blue Sky. So if you go to bsky.app/@halsparks.com with the little at thing, that will take you to there. This should give you some indication. He wants him to be ambassador to Israel, and he will be, because he's ambassador to the fucking rapture, let's be honest. Mike Huckabee addressed his role as U.S. ambassador to Israel. A new sheriff is in town. Great. Congratulations, Israel. Meet your boss hog.
All right, Katie and Clay, thank you. Now on X, the current governor of Arkansas, Sarah.
And by the way, they're going to be citing the shit out of X as a news source on Fox. All the more reason to not go there anymore. As fast as you can get out, get the fuck out. And anybody who's saying I'm sticking around just for the dusting it up is giving Elon Musk traffic he has not earned. Fuck that. Goodbye. End of story. Other than that, I have no opinion. Here we go.
Huckabee Sanders had some very kind words for the former governor of Arkansas, that being her father, our friend Mike Huckabee, who was just nominated to be the U.S.
Notice he sniffed after he said, our friend Mike Huckabee. Our friend Mike Huckabee. Who does that? Liars do that, actually.
Ambassador to Israel. Governor Sanders wrote, quote, "There is no one President Trump could have picked with a greater love for the Israeli people and
that's not Jewish, I suppose, would be the other part of it, or that's not, doesn't have family there or any connection to it, other than the fact that he's an evangelical Christian who believes that all the Jews needed to be rounded up so that Jesus could see them all clearly from Armageddon, the mountain overseeing the entire area, and then he could wipe them out for not being good followers or something.
Commitment to the unbreakable bond between America and Israel than him. Joining us with more, President Trump's nominee to be ambassador to Israel, Mike Huckabee.
And dude, I would just recommend you spend all your time there. Pack your shit. Goodbye. If you ever come back to the United States in the next 4 years, except for Christian holidays, you're allowed back in the country for Easter and Christmas. That's it. But the rest of the time, you better be in Tel Aviv wearing a helmet.
Governor, I agree with your daughter. I think she is a better governor and a lot smarter than me, so we both take second place. But in all seriousness,
first of all, you've always been dumb, Sean, and you've never been a governor. I think the line that you were trying to say before your brain cramped was, I think she's a better governor than you and smarter than me, because he's trying to compliment the man on his daughter. But he couldn't bring himself to do it because sometimes the tongue tells the truth where the brain refuses.
I look at Israel, the size of the state of New Jersey, and I look at them now battling a 4 or 5 front war between Hezbollah, Islamic Jihad in the north. You got Hamas out of Gaza in the south. You got the Houthi.
I thought the Abraham Accords was supposed to handle all this
rebels,
shit.
And you got ballistic missiles being fired directly from Iran that is...
Yeah, that are being blocked by the fucking Biden administration.
You know, supplying all of this weaponry because Joe Biden and Kamala...
all the way, by the way, through Russian bases that Trump gave them. Our bases that, yeah, there you go.
Harris allowed them to get rich by not enforcing sanctions. How quickly do you...
Yeah, by the way, none of this is from the money of easing oil sanctions when Russia got cut off. Again, this is just goofy, but whatever.
Believe Donald Trump can impact that conflict in the Middle East?
Sean, I think he's impacting that conflict before he's even sworn in.
Right. He's told Israel, fill your boots, man. Open fucking fire. Congratulations, uncommitted. Welcome to the absolute abject destruction of Gaza and the West Bank. And probably southern Lebanon and parts of Jordan and northern Egypt. Because I got news for you. If there's going to be another 6-day war to capture the Sinai, this would be the time to do it. This would be the time to do it. If you're going to try and recapture that land that you parsed out and gave back to the Egyptians and decide to use it just as a safety buffer zone, now would be the time to do it. And I'm not the only one thinking this. I guarantee they're sitting around a table looking like they're playing Risk.
You're seeing a scrambling all over the Middle East of countries suddenly trying to behave differently because they know a new sheriff has come to town, and this isn't a one-bullet Barney with a bullet in his shirt pocket. This is the real deal. I mean, this is Donald Trump that they are afraid.
Right. So they've shifted. By the way, shifting those kind of people from I might be able to work something out and will patiently decide back and forth in a warlike footing, the complicated part of this, to, well, time to meet Allah is not exactly progress.
Afraid of. And I'm just ecstatic that he has asked me to be part of
Me too, man. Pack your shit. Have fun. I hope you spend more time there than Newt Gingrich and his wife spent at the Vatican. Just I don't even know why you're still here, man. Why aren't you broadcasting straight from there?
I think it's going to be not just a realignment of political parties and many institutions in America, but really the world, to bring peace that we desperately...
Why does this sound more and more like Timu Antichrist? I mean, how much further do these assholes have to go before he wipes out Gaza, they wipe out the West Bank, and Donald Trump declares himself God in the remnants of the old temple? Like, I'm God's messenger, which basically makes me like God. I mean, these guys are straight up just trying to call Revelation's bluff.
We need. And quite frankly, when I look at all these people that he's picked, I'm incredibly impressed with all of them.
Oh, yeah? You think Matt Gaetz, serial sexual assaulter, and a guy who is currently under investigation, both in the ethics committee and in Florida, for transporting a minor while under the influence of drugs across state lines for sex? You think that's going away, by the way? You think the DOJ can stop states from bringing charges against criminals, even if they are in the government?
I feel like that I'm a 1995 Ford pickup trying to enter the Indy 500. I don't see myself in the same view as I do some of these wonderful people he's picked. But
yes, you're nowhere near as smart and as balanced as Pete Hegseth, and nowhere near as tried and true as a serial sexual assaulter as Matt Gaetz, or as slipshod with national secrets as Tulsi fucking Gabbard. Get out of here.
I'm honored beyond even description.
Right, because you get the relatively easy job because there will be no need for an ambassador. They will have a direct aortal conduit directly to the White House. What the fuck do we need an Israeli ambassador for now? Honestly. Seriously. I mean, they might as well have an office in the off the Oval, for fuck's sake. I'm dead serious. What's he going to do? Negotiate on behalf of the United States between the two countries? He knows this is just a cush job where he'll be sometimes he'll be on the phone. Most of the time he'll be delivering envelopes with messages written in rice paper on them.
Be able to serve my country and this president in a nation that I've been traveling to since July of 1973 when I was 17, made about 100 trips there, and I couldn't be.
Isn't it weird that you've been to Israel more than Trump had been to Washington before he got a job there? Isn't that weird? That's not weird at all. You're not Jewish. It's weird. It's kind of weird. Like, I made a lot of trips to China, but not anywhere near that ballpark, and I was working. I was doing a TV show.
More grateful to this president for giving me the opportunity to serve the country and him.
And by him, I mean the Lord Jesus. I'm kidding, Donald Trump.
Oh, well, I'm sure you're going to work very closely with my friend Steve Witkoff. He was announced today as the special envoy to the Middle East. Like you, he knows the area well. I think, one of the more interesting picks.
Special envoy. Mm-hmm. Isn't that how these motherfuckers are like? The private sector knows how to do everything, right? The government can't do shit. All end up with federal jobs. And special envoy? What is he, the Carter Page of this shit?
Will be Elise Stefanik. And I've never been a globalist. I find the UN to be historically virulently anti-Semitic and anti-American. I don't trust the WHO. We know they covered for China during COVID. I don't like the WEF. I never liked the Paris Accords. The Iranian deal is asinine, the worst deal ever made.
No, it isn't. Or Trump wouldn't have been trying to get back into the exact same deal his last week in office.
So I would imagine if the Elise Stefanik that lectured the pro-Hamas professors before Congress, if that Elise Stefanik shows up at the United Nations, that's going to be a little bit of a shakeup, the likes of which maybe we haven't seen in our lifetime. That could be entertaining.
Why? What's she going to do? Yell at our allies? He did that last time. Our allies have resources. They have recourse. They can join together. The EU can circle the fucking wagons. What she's going to go over there and do, just like Trump did when he, and Nikki Haley was ordered to do, is fillet Russia and China and give them a pass. Elise Stefanik is the ambassador to the to the Kremlin and the CCP. That's her job now. She is the liaison to the CCP and the Kremlin now in the UN. She's not the American ambassador to the UN. She's not there for the interests of America within the UN. She's there to shore up the weight of China and Russia in the UN and make them on balance with us so that they can have leverage again. And to guarantee they never lose the leverage, even if they don't have it in terms of population, in terms of economic output, making sure they don't fade off the stage. That's her gig. That's what she's there for. Elise Stefanik represents Russia and China at the UN because she's not going to benefit us. What's she going to do that is going to better America's position in the world at the UN? Finger wag? What? Refuse to have our troops put in UN peacekeeping forces in Sudan or some shit and just go, it's just black people, let them kill themselves. That would be the height of it. That's the top end. The fuck is she going to do that's going to make America better or our position in the world better? Get out of here. She is going to directly benefit Russia and China. And collecting envelopes. I think they've got other ways to do that. They don't need to do that through the UN. I really don't.
It'll be very entertaining, but more importantly, it's going to be a great revelation of what's wrong at the UN and why for many years I've never understood why we kept dumping money into it. I've often said get a jackhammer, hammer the thing right off and float it into the East River and invite any country who thinks they could enjoy it to have it. She's not going to be invited.
He means the building here in New York or whatever. Like, it's so fucking weird. Then what was the worth of Nick? Partly why? Why does he think that? Same reason he thinks that about what impact she's going to have, what Nikki Haley had. There is no benefit to the United States when those people are in charge. And the last time, I would argue that during Obama, there were a lot of both from a trade standpoint and from a moral responsibility standpoint for the rules on engagement in different theaters of war through the UN and stuff was a valuable thing that we added to it. But we're not on the hook to it. And this motherfucker seems to think that the UN rules the United States. They've been selling this jackbooted thug bullshit to the country for a long time. Like, we are under the thumb. These are the same motherfuckers who think that the Paris Accord is legally binding and will destroy the U.S. economy. They think we have to follow things in the Paris Accord even if they destroy our economy. When there's literally at the end of the document, right before you sign it, none of these things have to be done if it would be detrimental to your economy. Not even like destroy your economy. Not even wipe it out. Just detrimental. If they would be a negative drag at all, any green tech, green energy, renewables, any of that stuff, if it would dampen your shit, you can get away from it. That's why it was so loosely binding. The idea is that they did it from a sense of honor and pulling together. The Paris Accord is exactly that. It's an accord. It's an alignment of ideals. It wasn't a legally binding document where everybody could fuck you with trade or tariffs or some shit if you didn't have enough electric car charging stations. But that's what people believe because of dumbasses like this, which, by the way, is why I'm glad he's the ambassador to Israel. Because it's meaningless. Broom this motherfucker off there and let him tour around mega churches in the United States talking about what a good friend he is to Israel because he made sure they had enough bombs and bullets. Fuck off. Everything else this guy says is utterly meaningless because he is now the ambassador to Israel at a time when Israel doesn't even need an ambassador to the United States.
To a lot of after 5 cocktail parties in Manhattan where she'll be saluted by the swells, but that's not why she's going, and it's why she's going to be terrific in that position. She's bold, strong, unafraid, and will take nothing off of any of them. And we need to be bold. There's no reason that you have people like Iran and communist China on human rights committees talking about human rights when they violate them more than anybody. So it's time for...
Yeah, as a matter of fact, there's an area where they've violated human rights in the making of Trump's Bibles even. Are we to believe that Trump, while still making major products that he sells through his company, are we to believe that he's actually going to give a shit?
Complete reset of our internal and international relationships. That's what Donald Trump is clearly setting out to do. And I couldn't be more delighted to see this.
All right, what's the big reset? What's the reset in Israel? He's going to be the Israeli ambassador. I'm dead serious. Like, he could talk a big game about all this bullshit, and Elise Stefanik's a fucking... I mean, it's again, one of the reasons Trump puts women in certain ambassador roles is because he thinks it's women's work. You could see his disrespect for the integrity of the institution based on the fact that he puts women in charge of it. Genuinely, it's like even his chief of staff is a glorified assistant to him, not a chief of staff. Now, granted, his brain is melting, so we'll see how much control she takes. But Tulsi Gabbard herself is not going to get cleared as DNI. She's going to be nominated, but then they're going to have to walk back a woman, and that he's going to use that as a cudgel later on. There's a bunch of reasons why she just won't make it through. And again, a couple of these, it seems like, and this is my feeling on this, a couple of these, it seems like he's responding to Thune being the leader in the Senate and just trying to throw this like, we wanted the best people and they made us choose these second tier people so that when the shit they're going to do fails, they can blame the fact that they didn't have Tulsi and Matt Gaetz in there.
Take place.
Well, one thing that has to happen if the world ever wants to have real peace and safety and security, we can never allow the Iranian mullahs with their radicalism to get nuclear weapons, which they are desperately seeking. And
yeah, still haven't gotten them. All through Biden, right? Still managed to keep them from doing it. Why would they? Here's my question. Why would they not want them now? Why wouldn't Russia give? I mean, Turkey just broke off ties with Israel entirely. So why wouldn't Russia, via Turkey, give Iran a nuke? Even if they just give them the technology and say they have it, even if it's bullshit, test something for them and make it look like it, because you could do that as well. There's an argument that China does that through North Korea, that some of the tests were Chinese and they're just kind of hiding them because they do them through North Korea. And they're like, we'll do these tests off your rocket bases and everybody will think you're nuked out the ass and they'll be afraid to fuck with you. And we don't have to worry if it blows up on our platform. So there's elements of that's possible in the fuckery we're talking about.
They have got to be stopped. They are the #1 state sponsor of terror. I'd cut off their money, and if they keep firing missiles at Israel, it's time to take out their refineries, take out their nuclear sites, and the world will be a better and safer place, in my humble opinion. Congratulations, Governor. I guess I should say Ambassador.
Not yet, but, I mean, no doubt he will be.
Thank you. Hey, Sean Hannity.
Again, that's probably the least of our worries with this motherfucker. Or Ratcliffe, I suppose. Ratcliffe is probably almost the most, he's the CIA director, is who, let's see, I think they announce it. Hold on one second. They announce Ratcliffe on this clip, yeah?
This is a Fox News alert. President-elect Donald Trump announcing that former Director of National Intelligence John Ratcliffe will serve as his CIA director. Trump saying about Ratcliffe, quote, from exposing fake Russian collusion to be a Clinton campaign operation to catching the FBI's abuse of civil liberties at the FISA court, John Ratcliffe has always been a warrior for truth and honesty with...
He did neither of those things. He literally didn't.
...the American public. So there.
Click here.
So there. That's the entirety of it. And by the way, Ratcliffe is one of those guys who will do his job more than likely, no matter what he's, what Trump tells him to do. And they'll get mad at him, but he'll be dug in like a tick. The battle will be between him and if Tulsi Gabbard or whoever replaces him tries to muscle shit around. Right? Who will ever want to become a CIA informant with this crowd? Well, that's exactly it. My concern, again, is if you put RFK Jr. in charge of the FDA and the CDC, or even in alignment with what he wants, you're setting us up for a bioweapon attack that we will have no response to, other than Trump will suck off whoever sent it, just like he did last time. If you believe, if anybody, and a lot of these people do, if you believe that like COVID was a bioweapon, Trump basically said nice job and gave him head. So there's no reason to believe it would be any different this time. We just gotta, keep our fingers crossed that nothing terrible happens. The same thing is true of the CIA and the DNI. If they're first of all, they can't go after Americans in this. There's an element of the CIA specifically where keeping someone like that's attention outside the country is a bigger deal. Wray isn't going anywhere for the foreseeable future, so they might ask for his resignation, but I don't see that as happening in particular. So if the CIA is dismantled, it won't be dismantled. It won't. Because Trump is afraid there'll be a terrorist attack on his watch. And the biggest thing, undermining it, defunding it, lowering the funding on FBI or CIA is one of these big wet dreams of them. But if they do it and there's any kind of a major attack, it's on him for basically pantsing America in the face of it. Now, maybe it'll be too late. Maybe he'll be a jelly-headed fuck and he won't care anymore. But the people around him who, in theory, would like to be leaders one day or president one day or whatever will be fucked forever because they oversaw it as well. Yeah. So that's the other aspect of this. Now, Mark Levin. Remember I was saying they can't wait for this asshole to be God himself. They certainly have already just promoted him to Jesus. History will remember Donald Trump as a hero. No.
The enemy within. Oh, they hate this. I love it. The enemy within is still the enemy within. Do you think
Thanks, dummy.
they're going to change? You think the Marxist jihadists are going to change? You think Bernie Sanders, Omar, Tlaib are going to change? Do you think Jamie Raskin's going to change? Do you think Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer are going to change? Do you?
I love how you kind of lump everybody together with jihadis. Fuck yourself.
Because they're not.
Yeah, you know who else isn't going to change? Me, you dumb motherfucker.
That's what we're about. Educating as many
What, change?
people as humanly possible about the greatness of America, from the ancients to history to economics to our founding documents.
The ancients? I'm sorry. You're referring to the Skeksis.
We defend the founders. We defend the framers. From the
We defend the ancients. We defend the mugworts. I don't
Marxist professors and the jihadist activists, and we always will. We defend.
How? What the fuck are you talking about? You don't defend shit, dum-dum. You jabber for a living. Don't get out over your skis. At least I know what I do for a living. You defend. Shut the fuck up.
The patriots who are among us right now. The
I'm a patriot. I'm not among you.
statesmen who are among us right now.
I like to think of myself as a statesman. Sure, yeah. I mean, I've seen all 50 states, man.
Like Donald Trump and others. But Donald Trump
And others, but in
particular, who's
Yeah.
been treated like no public servant in the history of America. That's
Yeah, but maybe short of Johnson, has been wagging his Johnson around more than any other president in history.
what's so amazing about this. Grover Cleveland's the only president to win 2 non-consecutive terms for the president.
That's right. He's in a great club. Yep. Trump, Cleveland, 2028.
And back then, he was a Democrat, but he was more conservative than the Republicans. He was actually a pretty damn good president.
Oh, you mean back when Democrats were racists, before we switched parties because of the civil rights era and there was that crisscross? He was a Dixiecrat. That's the kind you prefer? No kidding.
Now he had a child out of wedlock, so they were making big issues of that, but he wasn't done.
But he wasn't anywhere near the pussy-grabbing scumbag that Donald Trump is. Sit back, Cleveland. Watch this.
Imhoff, slapping women around and that sort of thing. He was what he was, but it turned out he was a pretty good 2-term, unconnected terms president. And once you
Yeah. This is great, man. You're killing it.
look at Donald Trump, Do you know of another person in public life or period that's gone through what he's gone through?
Well, I would argue that Kennedy, Lincoln, Garfield, a few of them went through a lot worse by every stretch. And by the way, none of it of their own making, I would say. I think that's the distinction I would make. Like, what happened to Kennedy, what happened to Lincoln wasn't their own fucking fault.
That's the other thing. Kamala Harris didn't have any skin in the game.
Ooh, don't bring up skin, you pasty motherfucker.
Donald Trump had everything in the game.
What the fuck does that mean? Didn't have any skin in the game? I honestly, I don't know what the fuck he means, other than, I guess, money or something.
His liberty. It's very freedom.
Oh, I see. Because she wasn't fighting to stay out of jail like he was. Well, he could have not committed crimes, I suppose, right? That would have been the easiest way around it.
Stop breaking the law, asshole!
Why is that her fault?
Still want to put him in federal prison. They're trying to figure out right now, as I speak, sitting around some long oval table in the Department of Injustice.
Oval?
Just trying to, well, what do we do now? How do we handle this? We don't want to just throw in the towel. They're trying to figure that out in the state of New York. They're trying to figure it out in Georgia, where, by the
Right, everywhere he committed crimes. Yeah, I mean, they kind of have to, don't they? If we're going to have a rule of law, if the law is going to mean anything to anybody.
way, Fannie Willis won in a landslide. Good. They all deserve each other. But that's not the point.
It feels like it's the point.
This is a man who's been pursued to the ends of the earth.
No. He ain't seen nothing yet.
This is a man, even if he wins on appeal on that Albany case, the Letitia James case, he's lost hundreds of millions of dollars.
Oh, yeah. That's too bad. I guess he'll have to just graft off the fucking government like he did last time.
For what? For a phony case, for phony law, with a phony judge and a phony prosecutor.
And a phony business and phony books and phony deals and phony taxes and he's a fraud. That's the charge.
The Manhattan case was quintessential Stalinist. Stalinist.
What? Why would it be Stalinist? When the fuck did Stalin actually charge anybody? Didn't they just round him up and put him in a box? Good Lord. I mean, half the people listening to this are like, don't threaten me with a good time. Straight up Stalinist. Jesus Christ, man, Biden's still president. If they were straight up Stalinist, he won't make it to January 20th, you dumbass.
Convicted of 34 counts. Man was charged with 91 indictments. In 4 different jurisdictions.
No, 4 indictments. Those are the charges. Try and keep up.
Local, state, federal. That's not an accident. That's
right. Yeah, I feel like he had to work very hard to commit crimes in all those districts. You know, most people just keep it to one thing.
It's not a coincidence.
No, it isn't. It is not a coincidence. He committed crimes in all those areas, and he was charged in all those areas. It's amazing how that happens.
That's a police state. That's a totalitarian regime.
No, it isn't. It's a crime spree, you dumb motherfucker. What? No. Those didn't cease to become crimes just because you always thought he was fucking president.
And despite all that, you voted for him, and tens of
Nah, I didn't.
millions of others did too. You're not buying it. We're not buying it. We're just not.
No, you just prioritized the destruction of women's rights and your fear of immigrants over the rule of law in the country. Not that weird. I mean, there are a bunch of people who believe that Nixon could have been reelected in this environment. So that's who those people are.
And so he wins this election. This is election for you, for your children and grandchildren.
What grandchildren?
For the country. And
You mean Russia, right? Yeah.
Yes, for Donald Trump. This was a defeat for the Democrat Party, for the American Pravda media.
Wait, Truth Social is going away?
For the phony tenured professors and some of their dumbass students.
Ouch. Watch the language there. You're on the Blaze. This is the faux Christian network. Glenn is going to have to look. If Glenn can't fight the deep state and Kamala Harris, he's going to have to turn the Blaze into a megachurch. So watch your tongue, you fucker.
This was a win for those of us who believe in liberty. This was a defeat for those who are practicing tyranny. And let me put this warning.
Basically just flip-flop everything he says and you'll understand what reality is.
Warning signal out. They're not going to go away quietly.
Nope.
I love these people on TV. Donald Trump has to put out the olive branch. Donald Trump has to show how gracious he is. Donald Trump has to unite the nation. Well, maybe he can do all those things.
No. No, he cannot.
But the enemy within, oh, they hate this. I love it. The enemy within is still the enemy within. Do you think they're going to change? You think the Marxist jihadists are going to change?
Probably not. Those are pretty deep ideologies, though. I also don't think the maggot anti-government groups are going to change either, which is going to be a problem for him. You do. I don't know. Have you guys ever seen the footage of the dude who was, Summer showed it to me, of the guy who got pulled over? He was like within 100 miles of the southern border, and they're like, I need to see some ID or whatever. And he's like, I don't have to show you ID. I'm fucking Texan or something. And he goes, well, I'm Homeland Security, so I need to see your ID because you're within 100 miles of the border. We can ask anybody for ID because that's how the rules are. And this guy's like, fuck you, and pulls like a sovereign citizen bullshit because he's between here and the border. Now, more than likely, he had a record or a warrant or whatever. Again, the video starts in the middle and stops before the end. But the issue for this guy remains that he feels like he could tell the police to go fuck themselves specifically for this reason, that they think they're going to get a KMA card, and they're not.
You think Bernie Sanders, Omar, Tlaib are going to change?
Why would they?
Do you think Jamie Raskin's going to change? Do you
They all got reelected.
think Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer are going to change? Do you? Because they're
Well, Tlaib didn't, right? Yeah.
not. These are diabolical people who are always plotting.
Oh. Yeah, the Jews and Muslims always plotting. I hear you. What?
Plotting.
Plotting, you say. They're plotting. As opposed to plotzing, I guess, is the difference.
And their target will be Donald Trump more than ever.
Okay.
But you know what? Donald Trump has one term under his belt. He's not green about hiring personnel anymore.
And he can't see anything under his belt. So.
He's not green about what he's up against.
I'm sorry, he's not green about what he's up against?
More than ever. But you know what? Donald Trump has one term under his belt. He's not green about hiring personnel anymore. He's not green about what he's up against.
Oh, green the first time and then green the second time. Gotcha, okay.
And he needs to
He kind of is.
have the smartest, most courageous,
Whoops.
most competent,
Okay, not so far.
brass knuckle people around him to push back. This has to be one of the most remarkable campaigns run by a Republican I've ever seen. The lawyers were all ready. Did you notice? They were filing lawsuit after lawsuit pre-voting. It's very smart, pre-voting day. And getting these cases out and challenging it and making it abundantly clear that
Made no difference.
cheating wasn't going to be tolerated because they were trying to cheat. I mean, they found
No, they weren't.
stuff. There was no question about it. Even judges actually had to rule because once the voting takes place, these judges don't want to participate.
Yeah, people were burning ballot boxes.
It's a dereliction of duty, but we've learned.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. The major's address is up there. I'll take it down. There you go. Thank you.
That the hard way.
For all this and much.
Okay, that's the whole thing. Again, this is all like just macho posturing from this dickhead. Again, we saw this during Trump. It's no different. And any failures, it's like capitalism for the population, socialism for the rich. This is the same thing is true of like failure. It's like all the successes are 100% Trump's. All the failures are caused by his enemies, right? Now, I feel like I need to give you guys some good news to work with, and I have some waiting in the wings. This I think is kind of funny though. This is Fox News again. The title of this is fucking amazing. Bombshell report reveals House Dems plotting to sabotage Trump's agenda. You mean they're not going to go willingly and just cave to everything he wants like a bunch of assholes? Really? What's the plot? Let's hear it.
Welcome back. President-elect Trump is...
I'm sorry, who is Mac? I'm not familiar. Is that a leftover thing from when he worked at McDonald's?
Welcome back. President-elect...
Welcome, Mac.
Trump is expected to meet with House Republicans in Washington this morning. Trump will then head to the White House to meet with President Biden.
Oh, by the way, the Matt Gaetz thing that he did is still more people from the House that he's pulling for his cabinet. He may actually, if we don't already take the House, he may actually give the House to Democrats before he even takes office, because he's picking people out of the House, including Matt Gaetz today. Like, that's, I mean, granted, will somebody less MAGA take his seat? It's hard to say, but it'll be a lot harder for them to maintain that seat as such without him being there, because his father used to, is big in Republican politics. Matt Gaetz' dad is. And so getting somebody else in there that's just like him is probably like the chances are lower.
Trump's visit coming as House Republicans will hold their internal elections today. House Speaker Mike Johnson running for re-election, but some conservative members are considering challenging him for the job.
Yeah, do it. Do it. It was great last time.
As Republicans debate who should be the next speaker, House Democrats are already plotting to sabotage Trump's agenda. Axios reports that Democrats are working to get the money from the Inflation Reduction Act out the door as quickly as possible. Democrats are also pushing the Biden administration.
Okay, right. Yeah, I think that's a great idea. That's a good idea, Democrats. Get the Inflation Reduction Act money spent and centered on projects as quick as possible. They're not going to rescind it. They're not going to overturn the Inflation Reduction Act anytime soon, because Trump will have to look at turning it backwards doesn't benefit people the way like getting rid of the name does. It's better for him to ignore it, right?
Administration to fast-track citizenship and residency paperwork for immigrants.
This is the same shit we went through with DACA at the end of Obama, when everybody was like, you better fix this shit for us, Obama, or we're going to vote in this awful dude. And then they couldn't do it because you have to get it through the House and the Senate. And so they punished Hillary for what Obama couldn't actually materially do. He could only do a temporary fix in DACA. And these assholes have been looking to undermine it ever since. We're in the exact same fucking position. The leverage of the far left is fucking grotesque. If you don't, make something happen that can be taken away with the stroke of a pen, then we're going to give the government to a person who will destroy the rights and privileges of these people. It is, talk about human shields. Holy shit.
Joining me now is New York Congressman Nick Langworthy, as member of the House Oversight, Agriculture, and Rules Committees. Congressman, good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. First, on the internal vote in terms of the Speaker of the House, who are you supporting?
Oh, I'm supporting Speaker Johnson for another term. I mean, he has had extraordinary circumstances he's fought under in coming to the speakership. I think he's done a great job, and he's led us back to the majority. And we're ready to get to work with President Trump and pass his America First agenda, the mandate that people gave us in this last election.
Well, how much of that work will be undoing what the Democrats are sabotaging right now? I mean, you just saw the Axios story where Democrats are trying hard to sabotage the Trump agenda before he gets.
Also, fuck you, sabotage, you absolute asshole. Hold on one second. Let's look at the Axios story, shall we? Axios. Let's see. Trump is trying cabinet picks. We'll look at that in a minute. Biden has to work together. Asked Trump to work together on Gaza and hostage ceasefire deal. Gaetz. Gabbard, Trump's like, that's obviously, Marco Rubio, Hegseth. Republicans suddenly feel good about the economy by sentiment. No shit. Okay, Thune. It's Biden. I'm trying to find this. What was the title of this fucking story? I got for me to find it. 1 second.
Is America First?
Votes committee. The Biden administration.
Inside House Dems. Okay, there we go. Inside House Dems 11th. That'll find it. There it is. Okay, here we go. This is this shit. Okay. Inside House Dems 11th hour plot Fuck you. To sabotage Trump's agenda. Strategizing ways to put a damper on the Trump administration's sweeping plans, with their party still retains some control in Washington. While it matters, many Democrats fear full GOP control of Congress, an increasingly likely prospect will allow Trump to roll back many of the gains made under Biden administration. Hakeem Jeffries is telling allies how he's preparing. We had Democrats to roll their sleeves, get in defense and protection mode. Camilla Jayapal, Democrat of Washington, a lot of things can be done. We're going to take longer to undo them, and it will force a priority from them on what they need to focus on. She's right, but she's also partly responsible for where we got where we are. The talks mainly involve members of the progressive Black, Hispanic, Asian, Pacific American Equality Caucuses. Ramirez said the conversation center on figuring out what are the things where we have any powers to protect the communities we know will be most harmed as a result of a Donald Trump election, just like I've been talking about here. Rep. Emanuel Cleaver, Missouri, confirmed Axios. There are conversations taking place where people are trying to figure out if there are some steps that can be taken that can reduce the damage. It sounds like a plot and sabotage. It sounds like Democrats just trying to protect their constituents from an incoming administration. Hispanic Caucus Chair Nanette Berrigan, in a statement, pointed to immigration policy as a key focus, noting Republicans have promised mass deportations. The president-elect has even admitted that women and children could get caught up in these operations. Will. Dude, he's going to target spouses. Believe me, it will be the least sexist thing he does. He's going to bounce men, women, children alike. Jayapal said one is to propose a raft of executive orders President Biden could issue to protect existing structures, such as shielding career civil servants, Justice Department officials. She also said lawmakers are working on getting funds from the Inflation Reduction Act out the door as quickly as possible. That makes sense. Again, that's not a big deal. The infrastructure law and the CHIPS Act, they're not going to touch. They really aren't. They might reprioritize some of this shit, the infrastructure law, but the Inflation Reduction Act, it's hard to say what they would repeal from that either. They're going to enjoy the spending from it. Again, he ran his Santa Claus. He can't start cutting shit. The only thing he can cut will be from states that he doesn't like before they've started going. So that you need to like put the seed money down in blue states so he doesn't take it back, and he'll leave the money in place for red states. That'll be the idea. And then there'll be a lawsuit where state AGs sue the Congress for misappropriation of funds, and that'll be fun as well. Like the CPC chair, Congressional Progressive Caucus said lawmakers want to ensure those funds start creating jobs before Trump finds a way to just send that money to his friends. It makes sense. Democrats also plan to lean on the Biden administration to fast-track citizenship and residency paperwork for immigrants. They're trying to come up with a messaging strategy to bolster Biden's legacy. Trump is going to inherit a good economy to help educate about that reality. Yeah, well, you should have talked more about it when he was actually fucking running. Some Democrats are sensitive to the perception that they are adopting the tactics of Republican state legislators who use supermajorities to kneecap incoming Democratic governors. Boo fuckity who. We're trying to show how the United States is supposed to conduct itself every 4 years when a new person takes over the reins of government. Dude, they don't even give you a full fucking 4 years right now. He's telling them not to approve any judges. Look, when a Democrat gets elected, let's be abundantly clear. When a Democrat gets elected president in the United States, the Republican strategy now is that they are president for 3.5 years max. They will shave off a half of the last year because of the election, whether that person wins or not. They will stop pushing through judges. They will stop certainly any Supreme Court justice that they get to do. So they have shortened the presidency as best they can on every Democrat to 3.5 years maximum. Trump has already said, after the election, stop approving his judges. Well, last time he got elected and the people expected him to fill a full term with everything he wants to do. So if you're going to say that this is an unfair practice, I completely agree. But Trump deserves the exact same thing. As a matter of fact, I think Democrats, especially in the House, should, when you start getting close to the midterms, go, this is a midterm, and we've got a lot of senators up for re-election, so we shouldn't approve judges in the last 6 months of a midterm election. See how they like it. You hear me? Yeah, he put up Gaetz. He's allegedly putting up Gaetz for Attorney General. I don't see that happening. I don't. I see a lot of people walking and freaking out. I think he thinks it's going to make people quit. I think he's good. Like, everybody with a conscience will quit the DOJ with the idea of Matt being Attorney General. He's counting on it.
Thing can be repealed or reconciled. So, I do think that they are going to use every minute right till the 11th hour. I'm sure that, they will not leave the Oval Office until they are constitutionally mandated to do. But, we have to be prepared to, have our policy agenda in full focus. And I think the president-elect has done a terrific job laying out his cabinet, putting the right people in place so that we are ready to go with an administration. We can get those officials confirmed in past his 100 days agenda when he's ready.
When he's ready, sometime in, I would presume that would be sometime in the first 100 days that he's ready. I think it's all supposed to happen on day one, and then he just spends the next 99 days golfing, or dividing up the country into fiefdoms, I guess, is the other option.
What about Speaker Mike Johnson's move this week, sending a letter to all of President Biden's cabinet secretaries, directing them to preserve all records, documents, and communications? Johnson is talking about material related to the border, Afghanistan withdrawal, collusion with social media companies, the weaponization of government, and the anti-Semitism on college campuses, Congressman. What do you want to see in the House, and where is this going?
I went to see all of our darkest fantasies about what we think the deep state does, instead of candid conversations about the fuckery you have to deal with when you run a government.
Well, as a member of the House Oversight Committee, I have seen firsthand how the lack of transparency in this Biden administration has been off the chart.
Dude, where's the visitor logs for the entire Trump presidency? The fucking visitor logs. Not even what they talk about. Who went in the fucking building?
Charts. I mean, this is probably the least transparent administration in recent memory.
That's hilarious.
They have stonewalled and obstructed every single step of the way. We saw that.
No, they haven't.
Last year, as we were going through everything with a Hunter situation.
So everything having to do with the president's son, who is not an elected official, that would be everything?
And they have blockaded really every opportunity they've gotten. So this record,
such as
preservation is critical. It's the law, frankly. That's the most important factor here. But we need to be able to unwind exactly what happened these last 4 years.
Yes, you'll find a bunch. You know what you'll do? You'll find a flip book of you pulling your head out of your ass in cartoon form.
Led to the Afghanistan withdrawal that they haven't been honest with. I mean, we saw during the campaign just how dishonest they were every single step of the way.
No, you didn't. He's literally nominated Matt Gaetz for AG. No. Every warning they gave was absolutely right. Tulsi Gabbard is a former cult leader and a former Democrat who now allegedly, but by the way, is a student of, at the very least, and an agent of Vladimir Putin at the most, who's going to be allegedly going to be the DNI. The fuck are you talking about? No one, if anything, they were too kind.
I mean, cooking the books on jobs numbers, going.
They didn't cook the books on jobs numbers. If the jobs numbers had actually been lower by that amount every month, we would have started seeing a lowering of interest rates. It actually would have benefited the Biden administration if the numbers were closer to reality. But they don't control the Bureau of Labor Statistics. They just reference them.
Every single metric that they were able to use on crime statistics, they lied.
Bullshit.
Misled people. These are things that we need to get the full story.
Yes, you do. Get the full story, man. Let's hear it. I'm for it. Roll up your fucking sleeves, and I want you to sit in a fucking committee hearing and try to parse people's text messages about really sticky issues to make them look bad. When you finally get down to the numbers, you're like, oh yeah, crime did go down. Oh shit. All right. Well, what are you gonna say? I mean, classification. I would have classified this a little differently. I think these fucking commies. Like, go for it, dude. Have your fucking hearings. It'll be a circle jerk. Knock yourself the fuck out. Anything not to legislate, because that's what these motherfuckers are going to do. They're going to have all these committees like, we got to get to the bottom of and hold accountable the, there's nothing here.
Because otherwise, it's really tough to lead going forward when you don't know where we've been for the last 4 years. And we need.
Why? Why? Why would it be hard? What do you mean where we've been? You mean the delusion that you've had? I gotta know if I'm insane. So your policies will only work if you're convinced that there was a conspiracy to stop you from winning?
Need to use our full oversight authority to go through that information.
Yeah, it's a good.
What a fucking dweeb. Dude. By the way, a moment of silence for Fox and kind of the turd polishing that they're going to have to do, and then these like third tier Republicans they're going to have to start boosting.
Point, because for so long we were hearing from the Democrats about how great job creation is until they quietly changed it. And Bureau of Labor Statistics comes out and says, well, 818,000 jobs were actually non-existent. Same with crime. For a little while we're hearing, oh, crime.
No. Not how it works at all. These jobs didn't exist. They just didn't turn into long-lasting jobs. They were supposed to be permanent employment, or they weren't, or they were part-time and they were listed as something else. And when they were seasonal and they lowered them, and this is an average, they lower these numbers month by month or raise them month by month anyways. And still, without those numbers, Biden's job growth trounces, even without the COVID recovery jobs, trounces Trump's, period. And it will next time. As a matter of fact, the DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, will by itself, if Trump follows it, raise unemployment at least 2 points. By its fucking self. You understand me?
Is down. Yeah. Don't believe.
By the way, you're watching Hal Sparks Mega Worldwide. Like, subscribe, give a thumbs up, support the show. Patreon.com/Hal Sparks. I'm not going to forget to say those things. I gotta.
Your own eyes. And then, of course, quietly, they revised it and said, no, crime is actually up.
No, they didn't. No, they didn't. No. None of that is true. This is the exact kind of lie that they're selling. Like, the idea that it takes longer to get the numbers from big cities versus small, like, red districts, and that crime is down if you don't count the big cities overall in the nation, because most people live in cities, while it's up in red districts but down in Democratic areas. And they're like, see, crime is up. Not in the big cities, motherfucker. It's up in Bakersfield. It's up in like Indiana and the fucking rural areas. It's up in West Virginia. It's up in Tennessee.
I'd like to. Will the public know what you find out when you find when you actually get these documents?
Yeah, it'll be completely transparent. Don't worry about it. Maria, I don't even know why you asked that question. Why would you have to fucking ask? Why would you even ask that? Of course they're gonna show all their work, Maria. When have they not?
And will you be getting them, do you think?
Well, I think this is records preservation going into the end of this administration, into the next. The good news is we keep the gavels. We have the full investigative authority. We can't be stonewalled by Democrats. We can't be stonewalled in the Senate by Democrats anymore. We have a mandate from the people under President Trump's leadership.
Nope.
That we will, put an agenda forward and get things done. But that also includes a very important look back as to what has gone on in this country.
This is what happens when you have somebody who has no idea what to do going forward. No idea whatsoever. He has no idea what you have to understand. This guy is a Trump lackey, and he's like, fuck, what healthcare plan? The fuck is he going to replace Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid and the ACA with? And how the fuck what do you mean? How do you change the tax code to eliminate no tax on tips? And what the fuck are these tariffs going to do to my district? He's a New York Republican. He has no fucking idea what the plan is. These big broad strokes aren't going to be shit. When you have to actually craft the legislation in committee, put it in a bill, get it passed, This asshole has no idea what this is going to look like. They're going to start rounding up people in his district, and he's like, whoa, 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 we need those people to flip burgers. And like, tough shit, motherfucker. You know, you're first on the list because your sheriff is on our side.
For the last 4 years that we don't know about, that they've hidden from Congress, and getting them.
Yeah, it's all a big secret. Yep. Yeah, they've been keeping it secret from you, and you know, everything would be better if they just weren't able to hide things from you. The numbers can't be good like this. They have to be bad, and if they aren't, we'll make them look bad, so that our numbers, when they suck, we can go, well, they're just kind of, it's like a wash.
Those answers is critical to going forward and putting an optimistic future in place.
It doesn't appear that Judge Juan Merchan is seeing it that way. The New York judge is delaying a ruling on whether to toss out Trump's criminal conviction in the hush money case. He's delaying it till next week. Trump lawyers are demanding the case be dismissed entirely because he is now president-elect. Congressman, is it?
Yeah, but who gives a shit? Why should that apply? Do you become less of a criminal because you get elected to office? I mean, you can worry that you could say the sentence has to be handled differently because you're president. He'd give him 4 years of community service, and if he doesn't live up to it, he can do some jail time at the end of it. How about that?
Possible that this judge delays this sentencing until after the 4 years that Trump will serve in office?
I mean, I suppose I have, very low expectations for Judge Merchan. This should be thrown out entirely. It's impossible.
Based on what standard? Based on what standard? Why should it be thrown out entirely? I don't want to hear malicious prosecution. Give me the details as to why those jury members who heard those charges ruled wrongly.
To move ahead with this case. I mean, frankly, Kathy Hochul should pardon President Trump from these charges.
Yeah, I've heard that a bunch too. Fuck off.
And get on with the business of the American people. The American people clearly don't care about this case.
Why wouldn't? Here's the thing too. Why wouldn't the New York governor just keep that fucking leverage? I guess she could do it, right? Work with me on this. Think this through. Merchan punts the sentence until after he's no longer president, because while he is guilty and he has committed a crime, he cannot serve it while he's president of the United States, and that will be done based on his behavior during his time in office and this kind of thing. And Hochul could pardon him. Why would she do it right out of the gate? I mean, art of the deal being what it is, if she's got any leverage at all, she's going to need it if something bad happens to the state, God forbid. Whether it's weather or terrorism or they just fucking need a new stadium, I don't know, and they need federal funds for it. They need some pork. She's got that in her hip pocket, man. She could cut him loose from that shit. Why would she let it go? She could sit on it. She could go, it's under review, and then never talk about it again. Let him fucking sweat it. Who cares?
No other American ever would have been prosecuted in this manner. I mean, this
bullshit. Other people were. He should have been prosecuted for a lot more. Every other American wouldn't have skated like this. Ask Martha Stewart. Ask Bernie Madoff. Ask Michael Cohen or Weisselberg.
This is lawfare at its very worst. They weaponized the legal system in the city of New York, in the
all right, just gibberish.
State of New York. And Kathy Hochul should do the right thing and make this pardon in place so that President Trump can really get to work for the people of New York and the people of the whole country, for that matter.
All right,
sorry, he can't work if he's got this hanging over his head. Maybe he shouldn't have committed the crime in the first place. I think would be the key. That's the clear part. Hold on.
Stop breaking the law, asshole! Butthole!
Right.
We'll be watching all of this. Thanks for.
Again, how did these nudges all get elected as Republicans? I thought they were like the alpha male party. This guy looks like Fletch's attorney, or well, his ex-wife's attorney in Fletch. Arnold R. Pants, Esquire, attorney for the former Mrs. Irwin Fletcher.
Moon River.
If some payment isn't made, I'm going to have to contact your paper, garnish your wages. Well, we can't have my pages garnished now, can we? Tell you what, cash, I'm impressed. Saw my pimp today. Open your raincoat. It's worth it. Here. Keep the rest until next time. Go out and get yourself a nice piece of ass. I don't know why all these, there's this alpha male myth about the Republican Party, and they're the biggest pile of fucking bully dweebs you've ever seen in your fucking life. Yeah. So.
You using the whole fist, Doc?
Yeah, it's going to be a lot. So, also, hit the like and subscribe if you would. And then let's see, where is this? Yeah. So, this is, I want to share something with you. We were looking for these videos of Trump, like what he's going to do now that he's president. And people were talking about his war on the cartels, right? Yeah, and the,
Thank you, Doc. You ever serve time?
no, that's Babar. Arnold Babar. Isn't there a children's book about an elephant named Babar? I don't know. I don't have any. No children? No elephant books. So let me take you down this road. So I got to say, there are a lot of things that Trump is saying that are a bunch of braggadocious bullshit. But then there are occasionally ones where I'm like, this seems like the kind of shit that can get your family members killed. You know what I mean? God forbid. I'm not wishing this. And there's a way of doing, exactly what he's saying without it turning into this macho, dick measuring contest with these fucking murders, right? And this is Donald Trump declares war on cartels. This is it.
Fentanyl, heroin, meth, and other
and other things that Don Jr. tries to tell me make you feel like magic.
lethal drugs are pouring across our wide open border, stealing hundreds of thousands of beautiful American lives, and it's happening like never before in our history.
Well, largely because synthetic opioids are new. You know what I mean? It's like saying phones are pouring across our open border from countries where they are assembled at a clip that phones have never crossed our border at no time in our history. Yeah, we know it's 2024, dum-dum.
Children are being left without parents. Families are being ripped apart. Communities are being decimated.
Right, and that's my job. No, again, deportation force anyone? It kind of sounds like that's what you're planning.
Our neighbors and fellow citizens are having their entire worlds destroyed. Destroyed like nobody thought possible.
Well, I think destroyed. I mean, you think you think your life is destroyed kind of sums it up.
Our country is being poisoned from within by the drugs and by all of the other crime that's taking place.
I thought it was being poisoned from without. Right? Didn't you just say this shit's pouring into the country?
The drug cartels.
He's actually 6'5" with the afro 6'9". Pretty good dribbler. Works the ball between the legs and up and in. It's in.
Are waging war in America, and it's
Jesus Christ.
Our country is being poisoned from within by the drugs and by all of the other crime that's taking place. The drug cartels are waging war in America, and it's now time for America to wage war on the cartels. In this war, Joe Biden has sided against the United States and with the cartels. They are making more money than they've ever made before.
Now he's jealous.
Times 10.
Not quite.
There's never been anything like it. They're major companies. They're bigger than even some of our biggest companies.
No, they aren't. They are not bigger. Literally, America has 3 of the only $1 trillion companies. You are a silly person.
Biden's open border.
And also, by the way, does this motherfucker think big cartel is a thing? Like the cartels are making money, but they're competing against each other for customers and market share. I mean, if some of the movies I watched in the 90s are anywhere close to fucking true.
Your policies are a deadly betrayal of our nation. When I am president, it will be the policy of the United States to take down the cartels, just as we took down ISIS and the ISIS caliphate. And
so strafe bombing, that's what you're going to do? Just carpet bombing parts of Mexico? Is that how you're going to do it?
Just as unlike the situation we're in today.
Okay, wait a second. Mooney Girl in the chat room brought up one of the best Fletch lines ever, and I have to address it. And this is a great example of crossthink. And I got to get you, the one thing about the movie Fletch that people don't realize is that he's fucking amazing at his job because he gets confirmations. And this is good for you guys to know. There's a scene in it where he's trying to get the real estate agent, the name of the real estate agent who sold this piece of property, he's undercover, to Alan Stanwyck. And he comes out and in this office, so he's been playing a totally different person. He comes out and talks to the secretary. He sees the woman's name on her desk. And he goes, Madeline, do you have the name of Alan's realtor in Utah? And she goes, Jim Swarthout? And he goes, yeah. And she goes, I'm sorry, and who are you again? He goes, I'm Frida's boss. She's like, who are you again? I'm Frida's boss. She's like, who's Frida? My secretary. And he just grabs the paper and walks away. It's amazing how he, like, and you see this look on her face like, whatever, okay. And she just goes back to what she's saying. That little exchange, that and the one at the airport where he figures out where they're flying to and how they're going to Provo, Utah, and then they're going to Spain and how they bought first class tickets. And, you know, Mr. Stanwyck, you're booked on the glass tonight. I hope there's nobody sitting next to me. I travel with these layouts and they take up a tremendous amount of space, and I need the space. I'm sorry, the seat is taken. By who? Mr. Singlenden? No, it's name's Kavanaugh. Is that Morris or Pierre? Sally Ann Kavanaugh. Oh, Sally Ann, very nice. As a matter of fact, you purchased the ticket for me. Doesn't mean I want her sitting next to me, does it? So he's tricking this woman into giving him all the details. He confirms, if you look at how the paper would write it up, he confirms from a source at the airline that they are flying out together, that he bought the ticket, and she's traveling with him, and they're both leaving at midnight. Yeah, like those details, that's fucking amazing. And it's such a silly little movie, but there are elements of it where he tricks people into giving him confirmed information that I just want people to pay attention to. It's one of the reasons why I love that movie. And so who are you again? I'm Frida's boss. Who's Frida? My secretary. Thank you. And he walks out. It's amazing. Fletch 2 is a little adorable, but it's still good. All right, there we go. Now that's side note, we're fine. All right, back to dealing with this dipshit. Oh, and by the way, I apologize. Should have been a nut warning on this. His nut is not getting any better. Yeah. So prepare yourself. Okay, sorry. There we go.
We had a very, very strong border, the strongest border, in fact, in the history of our country.
Because of COVID, we talked about this.
And drugs.
Also, what's the difference going to be? Honestly. What's going to be, like, again, he's going to make a bunch of people that he said are coming here not come here anymore.
We're at a low of 45 years. There's been nothing like what we did just 2 years ago. We will show we took down ISIS and the ISIS caliphate, and just as unlike the situation we're in today, we had a very, very strong border, the strongest border, in fact, in the history of our country. And drugs were at a low of 45 years. There's been nothing like what we did just 2 years ago.
What did you do 2 years ago?
We will show no mercy on the cartels. Every day, drug traffickers are using the waters of our region to ship their...
The waters of our region? What do you think, they're bringing fentanyl up in canoes up the Mississippi?
Lethal poisons to America, killing so many of our people. and ruining families.
While killing them, the ones that are alive
In
anyways.
addition to restoring strong border security,
This is an older video, but it's from earlier this year.
I will deploy all necessary military assets, including the U.S. Navy, to impose the full naval embargo on the cartels. I did that before, and it worked.
So did Obama, so does everybody. What do you think the fucking Coast Guard does all the time, stupid?
What we did was incredible. We will guarantee that the waters of the Western Hemisphere are not used to traffic illicit drugs to our country. Furthermore, I will order the Department of Defense
Yeah, what do you prefer, airdrop?
to make appropriate use of special forces, cyber warfare, and other overt and covert actions to inflict maximum damage on cartel leadership, infrastructure, and operations.
Right. This is the bombing of a sovereign country. But remember this when he does the whole, I didn't start any wars. I haven't started any new wars. When this motherfucker bombs Mexico or assassinates people inside Mexico, does extrajudicial murders. I don't know, he kind of looked like El Chapo. He kind of had the same kind of wink in his eye. How are we supposed to know he was just a farm dude?
I will designate the major cartels as foreign terrorist organizations. We will sever their access to global financial systems. I will also work to forge an unprecedented partnership with neighboring governments in our region, just like I did in Mexico. And remember, in Mexico alone, an estimated 100,000 civilians have been tragically murdered or gone missing at the hands of these cartels.
Yeah, but like half of them work for the other cartels. I mean, that's part of the issue with this. And also the missing part, a lot of them bugged out to this country, and you're going to dump them back in Mexico, you dumb motherfucker. That's where they went missing to. They fled to the United States. They're here under asylum, and you are going to drop them back in Mexico, you dumb motherfucker.
The Mexican government, run by a very fine man, the president, is
Well, yeah, not anymore. Obviously, this is before their election.
working hard, but
Is he?
it's not working out.
He's working hard, but it's not working out.
These cartels are vicious and they're violent, and they have Mexico for now stymied. Well, we have
Stymied. You sure they don't have them shemped?
to help Mexico, and we have to stymie the cartels.
Yeah, but Operation Stymie. They're stymied, and we got to stymie them. Yeah, I think we do. I think we should. Yeah. Hopefully, you'll be too busy trying to stymie them to fuck up the rest of our lives.
Either we will get
That by the way, anytime we run into one of these like fucking authoritarian pricks working for Trump's, squads or whatever, they bug you. Like, just tell them, shouldn't you be stymieing a cartel someplace?
at the full cooperation of other governments to stop this menace, or we will expose every bribe, every kickback, every payoff, and every bit of corruption that is allowing the cartels to preserve their brutal reign. And it is...
What? Dude, so you'll blackmail them in exchange for... what do these countries find out? That the cartels are threatening to murder them and skin their children if they don't let this shit happen? And like, aha, see this email? And everybody goes, oh, fuck, that's scary shit. They need more help. Of course, I can't say anything because they'll skin me too. So, okay. Next.
indeed brutal. Finally, as I have said before, I will ask Congress to pass legislation ensuring that drug smugglers and human traffickers receive the death penalty. The drug...
Yes, that's right. Drug smugglers and human smugglers get the death penalty, and the person in charge of making sure that happens will be Matt Gaetz, a guy who has been charged with human trafficking of a minor under the influence of drugs. This makes total sense.
Cartels and their allies in the Biden administration have the blood of countless millions on their hands. Millions and millions of families and people are being destroyed. when I'm back in the White House, the drug kingpins and vicious traffickers will never sleep soundly again. We did it once, and we did it better than anybody else. There's never been a...
Also, no, you didn't. It's the only business that went up because of COVID, you fuckwad. This asshole gutted every business except drug trafficking.
A better border than we had just 2 years ago. It was strong, it was powerful, and
it was patrolled by a disease.
Was respected all over the world.
No, it wasn't. It was cartoonishly stupid.
And now we're laughed at all over the world.
Yeah, this is his other target.
And we're not going to let that happen much longer.
I'm sorry. I'm going to keep laughing at you. I'm sorry. I'm not going to laugh at my own country, and I'm certainly not going to laugh while you try to lower the quality of what my flag stands for, you dizzy piece of shit. But, yeah, there's no fucking way you're going to stop people laughing at you. You're still ridiculous. Good Lord.
We have to take over. We have to be tough. We have to be smart. We have to be fair.
Okay, well then, I guess you're screwed from the start then.
But if we don't do something immediately, our country is gone.
Well, I got to tell you, dum-dum, I'm guessing then it's gone. Just write it off. All right, so Tom Homan is going to be the head of Homeland Security, all right? Yeah, former ICE head. And he's going to be the border czar, whatever. And Pat Gray is very excited about this, as you might imagine. Why Tom Homan is the perfect choice to end the border crisis. Hey, man, from your lips to God's ears, it's only supposed to take 24 hours. So I promise I will wait a full 48 before I start pointing and laughing.
Today, here's what Tom Homan said about mass deportation.
Yeah, this is going to be your ICE guy, our border czar. Thank you.
Trump, he was suing the sanctuary cities, DOJ suing the sanctuary cities, pulling federal funds. Of course, day one, when Joe Biden came in office, he stopped that lawsuit. So that has to be put back in place. And look, I've seen some of these Democratic governors say they're going to stand in the way. They're going to make it hard for us. Well, a suggestion: if you're not going to help us, get the hell out of the way, but we're going to do it. So if we can't,
we saw this clip before or whatever. And by the way, they're not saying they're going to get in the way. They're just not going to let you commandeer their National Guard and their sheriffs and their sheriff departments and their state police, because if they do, then nobody's ever going to call the cops again because they think they work for the federal government. In a bunch of these fucking red and purple states, by the way. A lot of them already think this. Tennessee, Michigan, there's a bunch of areas where they don't call the cops at all because they think they're jackbooted thugs working for the fucking UN.
New York City, and we may have to double the number of agents we send to New York City.
Right, and you're going to have to pay for it, and that will have to go through Congress, and Congress will have to raise the money or find the money to do it.
Because we're going to do the job. We're going to do the job without you or with you. But it's much easier to arrest a bad guy. Like I just said, we're concentrating on public safety threats of human and national security threats.
Right, which is exactly what every administration does. Again, yeah. Hold on, real quick. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. So, U.S. 68 billion in 2016, and then let's see, budget for Customs and Border Patrol Agency. Yeah, $25.9 billion to meet the core budget requirements for critical funding U.S. Customs and Border Patrol. Department of Education is $68 billion. They're going to use those cuts to double it.
Much easier to arrest a bad guy in the jail. Give us access to Rikers Island that we've been kicked out of. Let us get the bad guy in the jail. It's safer for the alien. It's safer for the officer. It's safer for the community.
Wow. This guy doesn't care. Yeah. What you think or say about him. He's going to get the job done.
Your sanctuary cities, your governors are going to try to stop you from enforcing federal law, but
nope. They're not going to stop you from enforcing federal law. They're just not going to aid you and let you commandeer their people, because there's a myriad of other reasons why once you do that, you can't undo that.
No.
We'll just send more agents.
Yeah, we're going to make...
And one of the concerns of New York and why they don't want to give them access to Rikers Island is because their fear is they take these motherfuckers and they dump them in Mexico. They take them, these people get 20 years for murder, and then Homan will roll in, take these people who've gotten 20 years in prison for murder, and they take them and they drop them out in northern Mexico. They're free. And again, like I said, if you're an Iranian saboteur and terrorist, all you got to do, according to the Trump doctrine, is fuck around with electrical grids, mess around with computers, cut fucking phone lines, sabotage all over the country. And then if they're on your trail, just kill somebody. Not a cop, because they might shoot you then, but just a citizen. Just kill a citizen. And what will the Trump administration do? Give you a free ticket back to Iran. Free ticket home. That's the strategy. I'm not kidding.
We'll arrest you if we have to. Go ahead.
I like it. I actually like that.
Yeah, here's a flashback for a time when Homan and Representative Jayapal were going at it.
So good.
Please respect the chair's authority. The
I respect the chair's authority, but the chair...
Mr. Homan!
You work for me. I'm a taxpayer.
Nah, it's great.
I'm a taxpayer. You work for me.
Good for you.
Witness will suspend.
Yeah, why? Again, you do realize when you interrupt like that or you do those kind of things, you can't say what you're supposed to say within the time allotted and that kind of stuff, or in your answering, you'll get another shot at it. You're just pissing on the flag. You think you're fucking with her, but you're not.
That's awesome. This guy. I love this guy. And I know we got a longer montage or something of his greatest hits coming up, in overtime probably. But we just had even more breaking news. Now I can't find. Everyone is saying that this next clip we're gonna play of Kash Patel he's gonna be your next CIA director.
Yeah, that's not happening.
So help me, that has to be true. You have to see this clip. This is the guy that's about to be appointed as the next CIA director.
By the way, there is no fucking way that was ever going to happen. They already said, who is it? Where are we here? Hold on one second. Yeah, John Ratcliffe.
I'm going to love this.
You need a 24/7 declassification office, whatever you want to call it. Transparency, truth, whatever, I don't care. Sits in the White House, reports directly to you, and you take incoming from the United States of America. I want JFK. I want the 9/11 files. I want this. I want that.
Jeffrey Epstein. No, well, not. Yeah, well, I mean, obviously some stuff you can't. You don't want to do that or whatever. I want. So that would be your job. Like, you would sit there. You could probably still have that. You wouldn't have to be the CIA head. You could do that from inside the White House. You could still do that, right? Okay. And I would say to the Biden administration, declassifying all the Epstein files, if there are any left to declassify. That's the other question, too. A lot of this stuff is like leftover mythology, that they have more than they have shown in some cases. Maybe they have. And on a bunch of these fronts, I wouldn't doubt that there's a lot left over from the Epstein files that haven't come out yet. Some of it for legal reasons, some of it because of compromise, and they have it on people. There's probably a bunch of other reasons, right? Or a bunch of other areas where they haven't released stuff, from UFOs to JFK and that kind of stuff. But I mean, the background, like the Matt Gaetz files, how about those? Right? Maybe I should be able to request those. You're going to be super transparent. Let's see what the ethics committee and the DOJ has on Matt Gaetz. Okay. Again, they're setting a standard. They are setting a standard, and they have to live up to that standard, or they're just full of shit. And you're like, well, what power will it be to call them as full of shit? it will have that power because you'll at least not with them, but with the people that allegedly support them, the fuzzies. And those fuzzies have to be convinced to go otherwise when we get to the midterms, and this will be how you do it.
All the FBI, and this is a tool, this is something we didn't cover. What the deep state uses the most to cover up their corruption is an illegal application of the classification system. Remember the Lovebirds text from, this is a beauty, the Lovebirds text from FBI, DOJ land, Russiagate, Strzok and Page were texting each other. They were running the Russiagate investigation against Trump. They were the head of the counterintelligence unit at the FBI, and they're having an extramarital affair together. Can't make this stuff up. They're sending each other texts about how much they hate Trump, and are
which is totally justified whether they're fucking or
going to
not.
create an insurance policy to stop Trump. Then
well, that's because they'd seen the evidence and they thought it would be compelling.
we finally find those text messages. You know what the FBI and DOJ do for like a year? Redact them to congressional investigators and congressional men and women running the oversight of their
Right, and now we know what they say, and it's just two people talking. What I would like to say is, if you're serious about that, then how about all the grand jury transcripts from the Mueller investigation? I mean, right? I mean, if there's nothing there, there's nothing there. I gotta say, I mean. Will I be one of the people who asks immediately for a FOIA of those documents on, day one of the Trump administration? Mm-hmm. I think everybody should. I think Legal AF should do it. I think Mueller, she wrote, should do it. I think every major news organization should do it. If what they're going to run on is transparency, then let us see the grand jury. If this is all bullshit and it's concocted, and we'll be able to tell from the transcripts, oh my God, they made this stuff up, or they directed. You could tell by the way they're talking to the grand jury that they controlled all these people and made them vote to indict when they shouldn't have, and all that stuff. Then fine. Well, I'm an American citizen. I can think for myself. Release all that shit so I can make up my own mind.
Agency. That's just one example.
It's a dumb example. It is a completely nutless example. It is a fucking worthless example. Neither of these people had a secret plan to undermine him. They just had evidence they thought would be enough. They knew who he was. They knew what he was up to. They had seen the evidence that had not been shared with the public, and they had no idea that people would drag their fucking feet as long as they did.
But it gets even better. Here's the deep state full circle. Just last week, do you know what Strzok and Page received from the Department of Justice?
What?
A $1.5 million payout to settle a lawsuit that Strzok and Page brought for the improper disclosure of their personal text messages on.
Right. Yeah. That's right, stupid. And that's not going to change. You motherfuckers are going to go and try and do this to other people. They're going to do the same thing, and they're going to win. And if they don't, that's going to undermine any recourse people around you think they'll have in the future. So they'll just let it hang. It's like the Jan 6 people. He's going to pardon a bunch of these people, and 6 of these motherfuckers are going to kill their family members or shoot someplace up. And it's going to be like, oh, Trump just dumped these Jan 6ers on the street again, and they're all still dyed-in-the-wool QAnon who think that fucking Hillary Clinton is wearing Trump's skin.
FBI phones. And the DOJ just rewarded them.
No, they lost the case. They didn't reward them. Your DOJ violated their civil rights. They lost a case. Because you guys are fucking stupid.
They broke the law. They broke the chain of command. They broke every regulation there is in the FBI.
No, they did not.
They weaponized the system of justice against a political target they hated. We found those text messages.
Which had nothing to do with any of that plot. It was just their personal communications about how they felt about it. Not any actions that they took that were in violation of that law. And in terms of, and you had no right to look for them in the first place because they weren't engaged in any criminality in the first place. And so it was unlawful search and seizure, a violation of their Fifth Amendment protections, or their Fourth Amendment protections.
And we got them declassified finally in full when I became Deputy Director of National Intelligence.
Right. And it was a shrug. Nobody gave a fuck. Didn't mean anything.
And the world has now seen them and they can read them. And that's the best form of transparency. That's why I want this.
I agree. All the other here's what I want. How about the Secret Service texts from January 6th? Yeah, man. Declassify all internal White House communications. Don't classify these motherfuckers. All White House communications that are still, on any format, anywhere. White House visitor logs, man. Request the White House visitor logs from Trump's first presidency. How about that? Don't give me this shit about whether or not these fuckers were talking about them thinking that somehow the details they had against Trump would ultimately end him, which is what they were talking about, or that they were fucking. I don't care.
24/7 Declassification Office. Don't have me regurgitate it to you. Read it. Get the document.
Yeah, get the documents. First thing I want, all the Epstein files. Second thing I want every visitor log for the White House during Trump's entire presidency. Thirdly, I want every communication from the White House to other people that had anything to do with, not direct bill-related conversations internal to the workings of the United States that are covered by genuine national security that happened on the 10 days leading up to January 6th. Every fucking one of them. And we won't get shit. Shut the fuck up.
Let's get the files, get the memos.
Nonsense. Garbage. Bullshit.
But the deep state came full circle and gave these guys a payday.
No, they didn't. There's no deep state. You fucked up. You couldn't get what you wanted without violating their civil rights, and then you overstepped and did it anyways, and you lost the fucking case. And even what you found didn't lead to a material crime. They did not arrange for a way to make sure he never steps foot into the White House or never becomes president, which is what they were talking about. That never happened. It was hopeful bravado. That's it.
For rigging a presidential election and breaking the law.
Wow.
So now you know what happens.
Wow.
That's step one. Step two, get America the truth. And that's what that office would be for.
And your next CIA director.
So that's for sure?
Nonsense. No, it's not for sure.
I've seen
Is that confirmed
multiple
or we're
reports.
just speculating?
I'm just not seeing it from...
Because I haven't heard it.
From Trump? No, it's not happening.
An official announcement?
Just fucking stupid. I mean, the stupidest thing is Matt Gaetz for AG. Although he just resigned his seat, but maybe that's to stop the ethics investigation?
Announcement yet, but he's a great choice. Mm-hmm. That's awesome. That's how sick we are of this stuff. Uh-huh. He's just putting no...
You mean that your bloviated fantasy isn't actually going to play out and you're a complete dipshit? And so you'll take anyone, no matter how coked out or fucked up they are, lying to your face while farting on you? You won't care. You just don't. Because you want your lie to be the truth so bad that you don't care where the next lie comes from. Just as long as it gets like jacked up, as long as the lie gets bigger and more elaborate. Because it's about a dopamine high from believing bullshit.
No nonsense people into these roles to get things done. So be it.
Yeah, hey.
Get the things done.
Simon Ateba says he's named him.
Oh.
So there you go.
Okay.
I like it.
Good.
Also, that didn't happen. That's gibberish. Apparently, it's rat.
Good. That's great.
So good. I mean, this is...
Kash Patel will not be... He'll probably be like deputy DNI under Tulsi is the idea.
Oh, man.
But again, just like you opened the show, Pat, high expectations.
Yes. Very high. Higher than last time, really.
And I appreciate that. I'm glad. So that when the rug pull comes, it'll be that much more painful. Last time, you were just standing on the rug. This time, you're standing on a ladder on a coffee table on a rug with arms full of glass and a giant mirror you're trying to hang. Just holy shit. Now, granted, hold on. Matt Gaetz resigns. from Congress after Attorney General nod. Effectively nominated to serve. The resignation was announced hours after Gaetz received the Attorney General nod. It was described by Johnson as a way to speed up the process of filling a House seat to lessen the impacts on being one member down in the narrow GOP majority next year. But the larger impact of the resignation of the House Ethics Committee, which was in its final stages, will be effectively dead. Right. Yeah. The larger impact of the resignation is that House Ethics Committee investigation to Gaetz, which was in its final stages, will be effectively dead. The panel will have no jurisdiction to investigate Gaetz since he is no longer a member of Congress, and its findings may never see the light of day. Well, I mean, obviously, they will, because the Senate will see them. A major boon for Gaetz as he prepares to face an already skeptical Senate. Yeah, they're going to want to see that shit. And they're going to want to talk about it. And believe me, Democrats are going to get copies of that. And also, the most transparent, I guess, the most transparent White House in history, according to Kash Patel, will hand this shit out like fucking jelly beans. Once a member is no longer a member of Congress, the ethics has no jurisdiction. Told reporters on Wednesday. So if Matt Gaetz were to be appointed as Attorney General, the ethics investigation that is currently ongoing would cease at that point. Right, but it could be, germane to it. Also, there's still, again, an actual case that he had sexual relations with a 17-year-old girl. And that's going to come up. That's going to be a really contentious hearing. And I think they're probably going to defend him the way they defended Kavanaugh, except Kavanaugh is not a five-headed scumbag with a history of sexual assault and drugging underage girls like this guy is alleged to have done. He was just a dopey, beer-drinking dipshit that everybody felt sorry for. Nobody's going to feel sorry for this motherfucker. Why would the DOJ drop it, though? It's not the DOJ, it's the House. And the DOJ is not in charge of that particular investigation. That's a state charge in Florida. And there may be, the federal trafficking charge would be the big one that he will have to address. That would be ongoing. And he would have to, in theory, still legally, he would not have the ability to oversee his own. He could backseat it or something, right? No, this is all about the Congressional Ethics Committee stuff. It just said if he becomes AG, it would immediately stop at that point, is the idea. The congressional probe into this. Gaetz is vigorously DOJ declined to charge him with a crime. That was before. But they declined to do this even before the Ethics Committee went after him. That's not new. That's been around. That's since Merrick Garland has been at the helm. In September, he said he would no longer voluntarily participate in the nosy ethics probe and would not comply with his subpoena, accusing the panel of asking him for a list of adult women whom he had sex with over the last 7 years, which is not true. They asked him about underage women, but again, get ready for Matt Gaetz to suggest that the age of consent should be 14 and all drugs should be legal, as long as they're being taken by high school girls. And again, he could just be a bait. They could just be throwing him to the wolves, like burning him, and then he goes and fucking joins the Trump business or the Trump, as an advisor in the White House or something like that, not in actual, if he isn't AG, which is very unlikely, I think, they'll give him another position. But it gives him a reason to get out, to resign, that's legit, according to everybody else, so they can't come after him. This would be a dodge. Right? If you want to look at a strategy aspect of why this would be, offer him the AG thing, make a big stink about it. He resigns to take it. That kills the ethics committee's look into him. And then you give him some other position, either in the Trump business or the Trump, in the RNC or in the Trump White House as an advisor, where he does not have to be vetted by the Senate. Or he joins Doge, which, by the way, should be COG, or COG, I guess, the Committee on Government Efficiency, because it's not a department. Departments are funded entities by the House and the Senate. They would have to actually vote on that and create a new department like the Department of Education. They would have to create the Department of Government Efficiency for Elon Musk to work in it. It would be so far it is just what Trump lovingly calls a blue ribbon committee. So there you go. Sorry. Delete. Oh, definitely try to figure out how to keep 10,000, 15. Okay, me too. Okay, so people are asking how to. Yeah, I got my archive yesterday for Twitter. Let's see. Thank you posting on Blue Sky tonight. Hold on, people. There's Andrea. They're asking me about archiving your Twitter shit. And 10,000, 15 years worth of tweets, or how to delete them all. Okay, so the first one, people are asking about this, and I'll do this tonight. I've only got a couple of minutes left, and I won't be able to get into another video with you guys. But I used delete tweet, and it takes time. Let's see, how to delete tweet. There you go. It's tweet deleter. There's a bunch of them. Yeah, this is the one, I think. Many of these work the same way. Usually let's see. You're only going to need, whatever it is, you're going to need to do unlimited for a month if you've been around for a long time. So no matter what the system is that you're on, this is delete tweet deleter, but they're all the same. They're all basically the same. And you sign up for periods of whatever, you're only going to need the month because that gives you unlimited usually. And then as soon as you're done, you just cancel it. It's cheaper than trying to do, like the lower end one, which only allows you to get rid of like 3,000 tweets a month and yada, yada, yada. You want to dump everything. So this is then an unlimited number delete an unlimited number, whatever that is. So for $4 for the month, there's a way to do it materially, but if you want to do it quickly, $4 will save you a lot of time. And there's a bunch of other variants of these, but there's also delete tweet is another one, or tweet delete. This is the other one. Yeah, this is one. And you sign in with your Twitter, right? And by the way, they're going to try to sell you on an annual plan. You don't need it. And you sign up for just 1 month of it. Any of these will do, like I said. You sign in with your X account. You do a search for your post that says like how to delete all these. How do I delete all my tweets? So you go in there and you choose all my, like the search parameters. It goes tweets before a certain date, tweets before a certain month, the last 60 days, whatever you want to do. But you can just do up till all past tweets from this point, and it'll just grind through there and start deleting them. And you, like I said, you only need a 1 month version of any of these to do it, and then you just cancel it. You can also just go through there and manually do it, but if it's a lot of shit, it's a lot of shit. So what you do is just download, go into the settings for your account, download your. I'd show it, but it shows like my email and all that kind of stuff that I use, and I don't want to share that on the air because I'm not stupid. But you go into Twitter and you go into your account settings, and there's a setting under account where it says. Download, an archive of the files, okay? Can we coordinate followers to do this on Black Friday? It's a great idea, Mark. Yes. Maybe I'll do a walkthrough of it. I'll make a like a slide presentation for how to do it, right? And we'll grab all that shit, right? And everybody can download their stuff, so you have you got all the stuff you posted, all the pictures you posted that you might not have saved, and all that kind of stuff. And you will, you'll set that at downloading your archive. It takes all your files, all your pictures you've ever posted, all that stuff, and it puts them in one folder in a zip file, and you download it onto your hard drive so you have it if you want it at all. If you don't, you can just fucking delete your account. You're done. But if you care about any of that stuff, or you wrote stuff that you wanted to remember, or you wanted to keep stuff, or you have, DMs from other people that are no longer with us and you would like to keep those things, that kind of stuff, I understand. So this is one of the reasons you do that. You keep everything, you download it, and then as soon as you have that file, which I got this morning, you sign on to one of these things, you ask it to erase everything before a certain date, which would be today, and it will just start erasing them. Takes a little time, but it will do it automatically. And then you're done. Then you're I canceled the subscription that I used for broadcasting on there. I canceled, and essentially I'm just waiting until it finishes its job of erasing shit so those files aren't still on their server so they can keep using them, right? And then I'm going to deactivate the account. That's it. Done. So I will have done that by the time we get to Black Friday, right? And so I'll walk you guys through it when we do, if that's cool. But it's pretty uncomplicated in that regard. So there is, there's so many things that I think are happening behind the scenes right now in the White House that I don't take for granted, and I'm appreciating that these assholes are getting that far out over their skis. The fact that he's even floating the idea of Matt Gaetz as AG lets you know how much he thought he's won, and that's how much of a fuck up he's going to make, because they're not mitigating any of this. The idea that Thune, becoming Senate Majority Leader is seen as some sort of horrible betrayal. It's like they're acting like Senate Republicans made Hakeem Jeffries the Senate leader, right? That shows you where their head is at, which means they are sniffing glue right now, and they're going to try a bunch of shit that is going to endanger the lives of people. It's going to do a lot of harm. Okay. Rumble Trumpstein, that's funny. Have you heard of Blue Sky? It's another Twitter is better. Yes, this is what we're doing. We're moving everybody to Blue Sky. That's where you're going. If you like Twitter and you used it, hold on, boink. Try to do this here. There we go. Yeah. This is hold on, and this says I'm not signed in. Oh, I know I'm on a different browser, which is just silly. I feel like a big silly. Give me 1 second, and because I don't show my logins, I've learned that the hard way on online. If that's okay with you guys, I believe was it Edge I'm using. Okay, we'll see. I think so. Yes. BSKY. There we go. There we go. Now I recognize it. Okay, here we go. So here's the site now. You'll notice this looks a shit ton like Twitter does, except it's got a little blue butterfly up here. But all you got to do to find me on there is go halsparks.com, @halsparks.com. You don't have to do a big fucking gaggly name on there. Look, Maddo, there she is. We'll follow her. Although her thing should be just Maddo Show, on using the real one. I don't know why these people don't have their own fucking full name. But anyways, @houseparks.com, you'll find me on here. If you just do a search, that's what my account looks like. Boink, see that? Instead of having a BSKY .social name, all you got to do is go @houseparks.com. You know why? Because I'm a fucking nerd. That's why. And this will be the new verification, just so you know, for folks. Okay? And so you could tell this is real because I own houseparks.com. That's my name. That's my site. And it's verified through that site, right? So you can confirm it. The Major already has an imposter. He's got a fake account on there. So that's one of the reasons why we got to get him in there. It's Richard Ojeda 2A, like Second Amendment. Somebody went in there and fucked around. It's going to be real important. And anybody who's thanking me, I'm giving a boost to, and thank you for that. That's really awesome. All I ask is that when you join Blue Sky, you tag me when you tell other people about it so that I get credit for helping you find the place. Yeah. How C-listers have personal and professional accounts. You'll understand that one day. Yeah, but I won't. I'll have to do it from afar. And also, I just have a professional account, and that's it. I'm a fucking professional. The kidney will be on Blue Sky. I have heard that. It is true. I don't...
The kidney has a very special place in the heart.
Oh. Yes, report any fake Hal Sparks. This is the only one, and this is the only me. This is me. This is it. This is the only one. It's verified and everything. I proof positive that it's me because I own the URL. This is me. This is me saying that's me. That's the only way it works. If there's any other, like, dot anything else, it's bullshit. So there you go. Hope Dark Brandon stays with us too for the next 4 years. Well, yes, we'll find our own way to make sure Dark Brandon sticks around. But so in the meantime, hop over to Blue Sky if you're on Twitter. If you like Twitter and you've used Twitter in the past and you want the same kind of stuff that old Twitter used to be like before fucking Elon Musk rolled in and stank the joint up before he clogged the toilet, you'll like Blue Sky. And because of the nature of the architecture, you can move your shit somewhere else if it ever goes south in a way that you don't have to, you don't have the ability to do with Twitter. Okay? So there you go. All right, now I got to go because Summer and I are going to go see Lionel Richie tonight, I think. I think she got tickets for it. So isn't that lovely? I mean, hello? You know, I intend to be dancing on the ceiling. We'll see. But yeah, she got tickets through a friend, so we're gonna go see that because that's, you know, we keep forgetting we live in Vegas. So wish me luck, and I will see you guys. Yeah, I think the show goes all night long, all night, all night, all night long, all night, all night long. Hit that like, everybody. Even though you don't feel like liking anything right now, give me a like. You can do it. Muster up all your strength. Bring your finger up. You can do it. You can do it. And also, follow me on Blue Sky. Do it. And share me with all the other people that you follow on Blue Sky as well, because that'll help immediately. I'm not sitting in the fucking... Nobody puts Sparky in a corner anymore. God damn it. I'm muscling my way to the front of the class.